Hi, my name is Adam Langer with Langer Ag LLC. I've been getting a lot of questions lately from people regarding getting their drones registered with the FAA. I wanted to create this quick video to walk you through, step by step, how to get your over 55-pound drone registered with the FAA. All links that we'll be using in this video are going to be included in the description below. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or if I got anything wrong here, because I might, things change, please let me know. Adam@langerag.com. Let's dive into it. So the first thing that we want to do is find out if there is a specific N number available. So let's say you have a number that you want to use. Let's say it's N, because they're all going to start with N, 159TX. I'm just choosing some numbers at random here. And then we can submit. And we can see that that number is reserved. It was reserved on 228 of '07, and it is being held by Texas State Technical College. So that number is not available to us. So we could type in different numbers to see what might be available out there for us. So here's another number, N147RT. Has not been registered, so it is cleared. So this was canceled on 1/11/2018. So this is available for us to register. Now let's say you don't necessarily have a particular number that you'd like to use. You just have a certain ending number that you want to do. So let's say you want to add with TX. So we can put in a starting range of 100. We want something, let's say we want something in the 100 range. So we could type in those numbers and we can see these are the numbers within 100 to 200 ending in TX. So N115TX, 112TX, N153TX, and 155, so on and so forth. Once we have an N number picked out, then we can go to the FAA Aircraft N Number Reservation System. Here we can type in the N number that we want to reserve. Now keep in mind here, the N number is already entered, so we just want to enter the numbers and the trailing letters. So let's say we want to reserve 122TX. So we'll enter in here 122TX because the N number is already there. Go ahead and proceed with the request. And it is available for us. So now we want to go ahead and reserve this. Now, as far as the name goes, you want to use the name as you're eventually going to register the drone. So if you're going to register the drone in your personal name, enter that here. If you're going to register it in a business name, you'll want to enter the business name here. Generally, it doesn't matter if you register the drone personally or by your business. This is something you want to touch base with your insurance company regarding, because if the drone is registered to you personally, but your insurance is through your company name, there may be an issue with insurance paying out on it if something happens. So make sure you do check in on that. So I'm going to go ahead and enter in my information. I'm going to register this as Langer Ag. So I've entered in my information here, and I'm going to register this as an individual or company. So it's going to be a $10 fee. You'll want to enter in the CAPTCHA then as you see it and click validate. Now this is kind of interesting because it shows you that it's correct, but it shows you another CAPTCHA. Once it says correct, you can proceed with the request. Here, it'll show you the information you just entered, so you want to make sure that's correct, and then you want to submit. This will take you to your credit card information screen where you'll enter in your credit card information and then click continue. You'll then get a confirmation code. It's important to print off that confirmation page. You should receive a letter from the FAA within about the next 1 to 2 weeks as confirmation that your N number has been reserved. However, once you've paid the fee and you have that confirmation number, you can go ahead and get your drone registered with the FAA. Now, something else I just want to touch on real quick. Your application for aircraft registration is your registration until your certificate arrives. So it is important when you fill this form out, the aircraft registration application, which is known as Form 8050 3, 8050-1 is the application. It's important that you keep a copy of this with you at all times when you're operating the drone. This will be your registration until the new one arrives. So we'll enter in our N number as we reserved it. And for the purposes of today, I'm going to say that I purchased an XAG P100 Pro. Now, for the serial number, do not enter the serial number of the aircraft. With a remote ID in play, this is where you want to enter in your remote ID broadcast module for this unit. So my remote ID is going to be remote ID Langer, or whatever it may be. I'm going to be registering this as a limited liability company. And here I'm going to enter in the name of the applicant, the company, Langer Ag LLC, phone number, and then my email address. And I always forget there is a P.O. box on here, so I can just put in 355 there. Now, if you're using a P.O. box, rural route, anything else, you do have to enter in your physical address. Now, this is the one that gets a lot of people kind of questioning, this number 12, the certification. In the instructions for 8050-1, there is information about this. For the most part, this applies to the person who is signing the document. This person, in most situations, is going to be a U.S. citizen, including a corporation or LLC. They will be a citizen. You will then enter in the name of the applicant, today's date, oops, Adam J. Langer. For one reason or another, the FAA does not acknowledge owner as an acceptable title for signing. So you want to use something as general manager, director, something along those lines. If there are multiple people involved, such as the bank who's giving you a loan, they want to be included in the registration, then you want to add their information here. You want to copy over this information, registration number, manufacturer, aircraft model, and serial number, and then have as many people sign as is necessary. You want to print this off, and like I said, make sure you keep a copy of this with you at all times. Now, there's 3 forms that you need to register your drone. The 8050-1, which is the aircraft registration application. The 8050-3, which is the aircraft bill of sale. And for this, again, we need to enter in how much was paid for the drone. And I'm honestly not sure what the P100 Pro is going for right now. Say G P100 Pro remote ID Langer. On this the 29th day of March 2024, Langer Ag LLC, P.O. Box 355, Shellsburg, Iowa 52332 319 784 7976, Adam at LangerAg.com. And then here you're going to want to get the information from the seller. So the seller will enter in their name, their signature, and their title name are printed. Again, owner is, for whatever reason, is not an acceptable name. It needs to be manager, director, um, CEO, COO, chief executive officer of some level. Um, Essentially, somebody in the C-suite has to be the one to sign this for the seller. So, as the person registering the drone, I don't really need to fill this form out. This form should come from the person who I got the drone from, um, if at all possible. Now, the last thing that you're going to want to do is have the affidavit for registration. So there is not an actual form for this. The FAA does have a sample one that you can print out and fill out, or on my website, I've kind of created a little bit more custom one, a little more applicable to what we do. So you'd want to print this off, write in your N number, select if it's a rotorcraft, fixed wing aircraft, or hybrid. The most drones with spinning propellers on the top, even if they're double motor, are classified as rotorcraft. We enter in our manufacturer, model, then we select what serial number we have. So if there's no remote ID, we'll just enter in the airframe serial number here. If it is an integrated standard remote ID, we'll enter that here. If it is an aftermarket remote ID, we'll enter that here. Select if it's an electric, two-cylinder gas, four-cylinder gas, or turbo. Enter in the number of engines or motors and the maximum takeoff weight. If you're not sure what the maximum takeoff weight for your drone is, look at the FAA's website regarding the approved aircraft list. That will actually show you all of the aircraft authorized in the US and their maximum takeoff weight. And then you want to select one of these options below. For the most part, if it was a new drone, you want to select this first one. I purchased the unmanned aircraft new off the shelf, enter in the date, from who the vendor was, and city, state, USA. You want to then include the bill of sale if it's available, or a receipt, invoice, some other kind of evidence as attached. If you purchase this used and you got the seller to complete a bill of sale, you'll do this fourth option here. If they did not fill out the bill of sale, but you have some kind of a receipt, invoice, something else, you want to do this fifth one. Here you'll fill out your information, and then this does need to be notarized. So you need to find a notary public to sign it in front of. For the most part, a lot of banks and financial institutions, your credit unions, things like that. Some insurance agencies also have notary publics. Sometimes they're free, sometimes they'll charge you a few dollars for the service, but either way, you want to make sure you get that signed. So once you have the application, the bill of sale, if it's available, and the affidavit of ownership signed and notarized, make sure you make copies of everything and then send everything in to the aircraft registration. And their address is here on Form 8050. You can send it via mail or you can send it via UPS, FedEx, kind of however you want to do it. But make sure you keep that copy of that application because that is your temporary registration until your registration card arrives. Last I heard a couple weeks ago, registration was running anywhere from 2 to 4 months, simply because they're so far behind on things. So you do want to have that application available to you. One other thing to keep a note, just because you have the temporary application does not mean that it is approved by the FAA. So those drones cannot be included on your 137 operator certificate. You cannot include an aircraft on your 137 operator certificate until it has been until you have received the registration card back from the aircraft registration division. I hope this was beneficial and helpful to you. If you have any questions, concerns, or if I got anything wrong, things changed, I could be wrong, please let me know. Please fill out the comments below. Drop me a line anytime, adam@langerag.com. Thank you very much. Y'all have a great day.